Welcome to the Get It Done podcast, the podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, allowing them to share their business, share their story in business. Um, the reasoning for the podcast, the idea for the podcast, my prayer for the podcast is that someone will be inspired either from my story or from the guest on the show story. I get to talk to a lot of people. There's so many people that have the idea to start a business, the desire to start a business. But for whatever reason, there's so many different reasons, but for whatever reason, they're just not doing it because they're scared. So the Get It Done podcast with Erin is um was created to destroy the spirit of fear. That is my goal for anyone that sees this podcast, that hears this podcast. So for the most part, I'm talking to people that I do not know. I'm talking to business owners that I do not know. Most times I have not ever talked to them. We've never met. Very few times. So this is episode 52. Like I can't believe I'm already on 52. But out of 52 guests, I believe I've known maybe three people out of it. Yeah, so I'm talking to people that I don't know. I'm hearing their stories, allowing them to share their stories. I just think it calls for a more interesting conversation when I'm talking to people that, like, basically we're getting to know the people together. So today's guest is here. Add her to the stage. Hi, Robyn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Okay, so I will allow you to introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
So, I'm Robyn Reynolds. I'm a certified professional organizer. I am the owner of Organize to Harmonize that was established in 2008. And as a professional organizer, it kind of encompasses a whole lot of things. So, what we do in my business is we do anything related to residential organization. We do packing, unpacking services for people when they're moving or remodeling. We do custom closet design. We do home cleanouts and home inventories. I think that's about it.
Nice. And how'd you get started in this? 2008? You've been at it for a while now.
Yeah, so this is 16 years.
15.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
also an author and a speaker and a digital course creator.
Period.
Forgot all about those. I actually never knew that organizing was a thing. I'd never heard of it as a profession, didn't know anybody that did it or had hired one or anything. And one day I was reading a magazine and I came across the National Association, which is NAPO. And I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Like, this is something I can do for a living because it's something I just always did for myself, you know? It's just something that comes naturally and that I loved. So I immediately joined the organization. And then I had to go ahead and figure out how to become a business owner because I had no clue. I had always been an employee before that.
I love that. And how'd you figure it out? Like, so you joined the association and then, because I assume you have a whole crew now, or how does it go?
Yes, I do have a team of people, not a large team, but I do have a team of people because when we have bigger jobs, like doing things like moves for people, especially when it encompasses a large house or home clean outs, you know, when things need to get done in a timely fashion, it's more so because things need to get done within a few days or a week as opposed to months if I was doing it by myself or
Yeah.
weeks. So how did I figure it out? I just kind of did a lot of research, made a lot of mistakes, and, you know, it was kind of trial and error as I went along, which one of the courses I created is how to become a professional organizer because I made so many mistakes. I now kind of streamlined it for everyone else so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did.
Nice. What would you say your greatest lesson from failure has been?
Never give up.
Yes.
If you want to do it, then just keep going because you'll figure it out. You know, it may not be the right way, it may be the wrong way to do it, but it still gets done. But just keep going. because, as they say, anything worth having takes effort, otherwise,
What are we
I
doing?
don't know,
Yes.
there was no alternative. There was no alternative.
Same. That is, where are you located?
I'm in the LA area,
Oh, okay. Me too.
but I'm
Same.
originally from New York, but
Oh,
I've been here
nice.
forever.
Welcome home. Isn't LA just the best place ever?
No, I'm over it.
So
I've
are
been
you
here
ready to
too
go
long
back
now.
to New York or
No, that's a whole other
no?
conversation for another day.
She's like, no. Okay,
I
so
don't want
you
New York weather.
no, there's no other place. That's why I'm like, isn't LA the best? Just the weather alone is the best, I would say.
I mean, yeah, but it does. It's funny. I had a friend that had been living here for, I don't know, 15 years or so when I had moved here. And she's like, oh, you're going to get sick of the sun and whatever. And I'm like, no, I won't. No, I won't. And now I get sick of the sun.
That's so
Like, I
funny.
love the days that it's cloudy or rainy. I'm like, oh, something different. I don't have to put on sunglasses when I go outside.
Yeah, that's
So,
so funny.
yeah, I do get, it's nice having four seasons, or at least a difference in
The
temperature and
day.
climate and things. So I kind of miss that. Fall is beautiful
Yeah.
everywhere, in most of the places that have a real fall. You know,
Yes.
there's trees besides palm trees.
Yes. See, and I am a LA girl at heart. I'm born and raised. I did my early 20s. I moved to Atlanta. I was there for 5 years. So I did get to experience all the seasons. Early 30s, I moved to Virginia. I was there for 6 years. But there's no place like for me because I started here. So like
Right.
I can have a sunny day every day of my life for the rest of my life, and I would just be the happiest girl in the world. And I am in love with palm trees. Those are my ultimate favorites.
Well,
But
then
it
you're in the
was
right place.
yes, but it was nice to get to see the different seasons. But I don't need to
Yeah.
live in that. I can go visit.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, 16 years later, what would you say motivates and inspires you to keep it pushing?
Well, this is my career. This is how I make a living. So, it's as an entrepreneur, it's always a hustle. You're always working to get the next job, the next client, whatever. So, this is what I do. No one is feeding me anything. No one is giving me a steady paycheck just to show up. So, when you have to do it on your own, that's if you want to pay your bills, you're going to stay
You're gonna figure
motivated
it out.
so that you can
I
pay your
agree.
bills.
Yeah. Yep. So is there any long-term like goal from here? So maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years later, what in your mind or your eyes do you see the business being?
Well, by then I probably will not be working anymore.
She's like, I'll
That's a
be
long
retired.
time, another 15 years. Um, but definitely, I'm writing my second book now, which I think is going to be a great book because my book coach, who is a former organizer, but she works more as a book coach now, she tells me there's nothing like it on the market. So I'm very excited to do that. I
Nice.
want to do more speaking. So that's for sure. And my digital courses, I want to shift or at least have that extra passive income from my digital courses and not doing so much in-person work, or at least for
Yeah.
myself. Like my team can still do the in-person work, but for myself, I want to cut back on that and stay more with the speaking, the writing, which the book will be done in a few months. And then with the digital courses.
Nice. I love that. This year I plan on getting into speaking. Just it's a lot of planning that is going into it, but I'm excited about that portion of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Do you think business has changed you at all?
Has it changed me? I mean, absolutely. I mean, anything that you do, I think you grow from it, and you have to, although I sometimes consider myself a semi-introverted extrovert, but you always have to be, like I said, hustling and talking to people and getting, bringing in more business. So it definitely has put me out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is not necessarily speaking, but that's what helps a lot of times.
Yes.
So it definitely pushes me in ways that I wouldn't have done before. I don't like writing. I was one of those people in school, you needed a 10-page book report. Why? I give you everything you needed in 2 pages. So, it's a challenge. So if it wasn't for my business and doing this book or working on this book that I'm writing now, I never probably would have written a book, because that's just not what it's not anything that comes easy, but because I feel I have something to say, then now that's something that has pushed me out of my comfort zone.
I love that.
So a lot of things have happened because of the business that probably would not have happened if I never started the business.
Yeah. And doing all those things because of the business, that has all these things that have pushed you out of your comfort zone, or doing all the things that you probably wouldn't do because of this just wouldn't be your area of life. What are you most proud of in all of those things?
When I first started, I had no plan in place, like literally no plan. I was going through a divorce, becoming a single mom. I have no familial support because everyone is deceased. So I basically was navigating waters all by myself. So now I had to not only take care of me, but I had to take care of my daughter, who was very young at the time. So I forgot the question.
Out of all of I do that all the
what
time.
am I proud of?
Yes.
So like I said, I had no plan in place. I'm kind of like fly by the seat of my pants type person. I was like, okay, let's just do this.
Are you left-handed?
I'm sorry?
Are you left-handed?
No.
Oh, okay. You just sound like me, so I'm like, maybe she's left-handed. But no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This is me.
I didn't know that was a left-hand trait. But so I just, went for it, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea, if it was going to work or whatever. But, and I was also getting, a few months after I started my business, I got laid off from my job. So then I really had to be like, oh my God, what am I doing now? So I really had to make it work. And not to say that it's always been easy, because it's up and down, but at the same time, it's the only thing that it's the best thing for me, especially as a single mom, at least for me, because I don't have to, I didn't have to ask anybody for permission. The course that I created to become an organizer, plus I have courses for the public. I call it the LIT program, which is Life on Your Terms, because I always say I no longer have to ask anybody permission to do anything. Period. Because I get to decide what I'm going to do.
Yes.
If I want to go see the little kindergarten play, that, we're obligated to go to, then I could go. I don't have to ask for the day off. If I want to take an extra day to do X, Y, and Z, I can just do that. So when it comes to what I'm most proud of, is being here still doing the same thing 16 years later.
Yes, I love that.
Because without a real plan or really knowing, how to start a business or anything, it was one day at a time. And, a year turned into 2, into 5, into 10. And then it's like, holy cow, how am I still doing this? Yeah. It's pretty shocking to me sometimes.
That's how I feel. December will be year 5 for me. 1, the time has just been flying. But 2, I'm like, this cannot be anything outside of other than God, because I tell people all the time, I'm not that smart. Like, I'm not this smart. This is all God.
But when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I think, there's always a way.
Yeah, it just naturally flows one way or another.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Because there are other things that I've done that kind of, it wasn't per se my own business, but I was more an independent contractor, say, in different fields or in one different field, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was not the right thing for me, because I had a stress cough that literally would affect me so bad that I would throw up. So I would cough until I would throw up. I'd be driving down the freeway, And
Oh my
I would
goodness.
keep rolls of paper towel in my car because I never knew when I was going to start throwing up. And honest to God, the day I said I wasn't going to do that job anymore, the cough went away.
Wow. That is crazy.
Hand to God.
Wow. That is
So I know that wasn't what I was supposed to do.
and it's so crazy because so many people get caught up or stuck in, or they feel like they have to do work. But I mean, because I feel like we spend so much time doing the work that we do, whatever it is, whatever, if it's our 9 to 5, if it's our business, like it's a lot of hours that go into that. And the
Yeah.
amount of people that work jobs that they absolutely hate is just surprising to me. Like, just quit. But I mean, I know it's not that easy, but like figure out a way to quit at least. But people do it years and years and years until they retire. Like, I don't.
But you have to have that. You have to be conditioned to want to do that for yourself, because not
Yeah.
everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur because it's not easy.
Yeah,
It's
no, but
like,
even if it's like just go get a new job, like I think the idea of just change is just
and they get
frightening for people.
comfortable. People get
Yeah,
comfortable where they're at, and they don't
yeah,
want to, have to. Again, it takes effort. They
yeah,
get comfortable. They don't want to have to. Oh, I got to look for a job. I got to go
yeah,
on interviews. I got to do this. I got to do that.
yeah.
If you want to
True.
change, you have to make the
You
change.
got to do the work to do it. Yeah, it's kind of like being with the wrong man, but you don't want to be single, so you just stay in
Exactly.
that relationship forever.
Yeah, I'd rather be single. Sorry.
Yes, period. What is one thing that you would say that people, if there's something that you can think of, that most people think about you, but it isn't true?
Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
what do people think about me that, I mean, sometimes I can have a hard exterior until you get to know me. I
Yeah.
guess, it's not, when I work with my clients, it's very different. Like there was somebody, I just had some people, some family members that I'm very close to, some cousins that, my only cousins that live here. And they found out something that I was doing in work. And they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were that. I'm like, yeah, you don't know a lot about me. Like you see me as a goof, as loud, as this, as that, as the other thing. But there's a whole, other 10
There's
different
other
sides of
aspects
me
of
that you
you.
just don't know anything about me.
Yeah.
So, people tend to have blinders on and they see what they want to see without really going any deeper than that. And they just they make their own opinions from what they see immediately.
Yeah, I
And I
agree.
think it's human nature. I mean, we all kind of do that, but you also have to allow yourself to let somebody in, and it's for me, it's not always that easy just because of, past experiences and stuff. So I tend to be very guarded.
Okay. One thing that scares you about business, if there's anything.
There's a whole lot.
Really?
Well, it's because it's not something that, I'm not, I don't even know how to put it into words. I do something that, although it is a necessity for many, many, many reasons, people often view as a luxury. It is not an inexpensive service, but it is a necessary service for everyone. Because when you're more organized, other things in your life flow better as well.
I agree.
And that's part of what I'm writing about in my book. However, so the fear or you know, the, I don't want to call it fear because I don't want to put that energy out there, but it's like, am I going to get another client? Am I going to get more work? Am I going to get this? Is it just going to stop? Because there's ups and downs in everything.
Yeah.
So when it's slow, it's like, oh my God, am I ever getting another client again? And then when I'm busy, I'm like, great, yay, now I'm busy and I can't breathe, but this is great,
Yeah.
So it's always that, will my book be as successful as I think it will be? Will my courses be as successful? I put a lot of time and energy into everything that I do because it's what I love, and you want it to be successful. You want to be able to reap the rewards of it, but
Yeah.
there's just no way of knowing.
Yeah. I used to have that. I don't know what it's called, but I started equating it to, do I feel that way when I wake up in the morning or when I go to bed at night? Am I going to wake up in the morning? Because I used to have okay, well, what if I don't get people? What if I don't? So I started equating it to whoever's supposed to be here, God will send them. And whoever is not, my prayer is that he takes them away. But that was, for me, that was huge for in the beginning, for a long time. And then I had to get over it because it was that energy that I'm thinking about, that I could be focused on, ways to build, or,
Right.
all these other things.
Well, it's always what you put your attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing is, when earlier in my business, I definitely have shifted the type of clients that I attract.
Mm-hmm.
Because earlier on, I was getting, some of the clients that I had, and not all of them by any means, they were not the nicest of people, let's just say.
Yeah.
It came to almost the point that I had to fire clients, and then it was finally, I needed to shift whatever, even just my thought process and whatever. Mm-hmm. And now the clients that come to me are people that I actually really, really like.
Yep.
And, could even be friends with, because it's very, very personal work that you do. You're digging in literally everyone's drawers.
Yes.
And you're seeing all kinds of stuff.
Their personal stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the one reason why I can't get a cleaning lady. I'm like, she can do the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom, but I don't want anybody coming in my room, cleaning my room.
Well, you just put away what you don't want anybody to see that. That's all.
Yeah. Don't touch none of this over here.
But there are, so you have to be very comfortable with the person that you are working with. When I work with everybody, the regular person to A-list celebrities. So, and sometimes even the celebrities don't have NDAs or anything, but it's not like I go on podcasts, on media or whatever and start talking about everybody, but because there is that trust factor there. I'm a very trustworthy person. I find stuff all the time. Oh, look, I found money. Here's the money that I found, or I found this piece of jewelry here, so that people don't, because you don't know whether they're trying to trick you and hiding it to see what you're going to do. Probably not. But I'm just an honest person anyway.
Yeah, you have to operate in integrity at all times.
Absolutely. Because that's all you have.
Yeah.
All you have is your reputation. I don't do any advertising. I don't do any kind of anything. It's all word of mouth.
Nice. So you don't do social media at all?
Yeah, but I don't it's not like I get business from it.
Yeah.
I mean, it may come more into play once my book is launched and the courses and stuff. But as far as my in-person work, it's all word of mouth.
Nice.
It's all referrals.
I love that.
And oftentimes I don't even know. They'll say, "Oh, Joe Blow referred me." I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice." I don't even know.
Yeah, that happens to me. They're like, "You know, so and so." Oh shoot, and I'm just like, oh, "Okay, tell her I said thank you." It happens.
Absolutely.
So do you only have one daughter?
Yes.
Yes. So 15 years, once you are retired, 20 years, I don't know how long. What will you tell her about this season in life?
I think she sees it. I mean, she's in college now. So basically she grew up with my business, because I pretty much started it, when she was starting school. And on occasion she'll work with me on jobs, because now she goes away to school, but when she's home, or if it's something that I can have her help with. So, but she sees that mommy's a really hard worker. She sees that the work ethic that I have, And sometimes, you look at your own kids and you see them in the house and you're like, oh my God, is she ever going to keep a job, or what's going to, you worry about that stuff. But every job that she's had, they always ask her back. They always take her back. And people have nothing but good things to say about her. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I did something right.
She
Even though
was
you think,
watching you work.
yeah, yeah.
I love
Because
that.
when you're self-employed, you don't stop. You don't just work 9 to 5. You work nights, you work weekends, you work on
All
vacation,
the
you work
time.
whatever. There may always be something that's coming up. So, you just got to do it
I love
if
that.
you want to keep it going. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So looking back at when you first started 16 years ago, what would you have to say to the woman that you were then, looking back at that time over all the years?
Well, I mean, I've definitely learned so much more, even about the business, because yes, it comes very innate for me, but there's so much more to it than just the natural ability of putting a square peg in a round hole. There's such a huge psychological component to it, because people have such attachment issues for a variety of reasons. And, no, I'm not a therapist, but you often feel like you're one working with clients sometimes.
Yep.
So I would just say, trust yourself, trust your instincts, because you're a smart person. So you know how to handle people and you know how to talk to people, and not everybody can do that. I've seen people that, that work very differently, and I'm talking about other organizers that I would never refer to, because they just don't necessarily get it.
Yeah.
Because it's never really about the stuff. It's always about something else.
Yes. And that's in every situation.
Yeah.
What would you say set your business apart from the other people or the other businesses in your field?
It's hard to say because I don't know how they run. I only know what I do,
Yeah.
and I know that what I bring to the table, as they say, there's only one me. So when I work with my clients, I always meet them where they're at. So, my nature is to have some sort of humor just to lighten the situation. Because people get a lot of anxiety sometimes when we come, because they don't know what to expect. They don't know, they get really scared. How is this
Yeah.
going to go? But then often, you lighten up the situation and they're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, So it's like, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be, and I can try and make it fun for them. But also on the flip side, if somebody is very emotional, you have to let them be in their emotions, and you have to, comfort and nurture also,
Yeah.
because just from a human standpoint, if someone is sitting there hysterical because of X, Y, and Z, you're not going to sit there and make jokes about it.
Yeah.
So
It's like you have to know your audience.
that's what I'm saying. I just meet
Yeah.
them where they're at,
Yeah.
whatever they're dealing with, which is always something personal. Just try and, walk them through it, and keep them on task, but in a way that is respectful of their process and their feelings.
Do you have an ideal client?
My ideal client, or usually what I attract, are people that are busy, 99% of the time women, not always moms with young kids, but sometimes, and they just want stuff done. They don't necessarily want to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
But they just need to get it done. They want to live a certain way, and they just want someone else to handle it for them. And there are some clients that need to have, a maintenance plan where I see them, every month or every other month or every quarter or whatever it is, because while they may be able to maintain it in the interim, things happen, life happens, and it starts, it goes in disarray and they need like a little touch up and stuff. But in addition, so that encompasses, with that being said, with the person that just wants to get it done, that encompasses the busy executives, and it encompasses A-listers. It encompasses anyone that, travels a lot, doesn't have the time, or works a lot, because the last thing they want to do is spend their time doing this. So
Yeah.
they'd rather just pay somebody to do it for them. That happens a lot. And I remember days that, the things you don't enjoy doing that you may have to push off to the weekend, even when I was working 9 to 5, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this, because you want to enjoy your weekend.
Your
You want to
time
enjoy
off.
your holiday.
Yes.
Exactly. Or whatever it is. You don't want to have to do something that you dread.
Yes,
So
I agree. And that also goes, I was just telling my client last night, because we were talking about like just like a couple of personal things, and I was just saying like the importance of the time that we have outside of work. Like if it's not spending it doing something that I want to do, or spending it with around people that I want to be around, why do it? Because like
exactly.
I'm focusing so much of my time on work. Like I need to enjoy the time that I have when I'm not working. And a lot of people are making opposite decisions, I guess, in that area of their life, which is sad. My
But that's
question.
why when you're organized, you have systems set up so that things, you can find stuff. You don't have to spend your time looking for things, so that you don't have to constantly be reorganizing or dealing with your clutter. And then you can
Doing
spend
stuff you don't want to do.
your time off doing the things that you want to do with people that you want to be around.
Yes, I agree. um, what is one thing that you would hope to gain, or you would hope people would gain from being around you?
Well, what they do gain, because my clients will often tell me, I hear you in my head.
Ah.
When I go to do X, Y, and Z, I hear Robyn saying, don't do that, put it here, or whatever it is that they're saying. So clients tell me that all the time, and I just think it is so funny. But I mean, that's the point. You're trying to get them to
Get it together.
what we do is transfer skills. So
Yes.
the whole point is for them to change their habits and pick up the habits that I'm now teaching them. So that's the point of it. So I'm like, okay, that's good.
So you're on the right track.
Exactly.
Do you think it is it is important to build a personal brand,
Oh, absolutely.
and why?
Absolutely. Where would Coke be if they didn't have a brand? Or Target. You see a bullseye, you automatically know that it's Target.
Yes.
So absolutely, because it's a way to be identified, and not just by a logo or something, but as we were talking about before, knowing that if you hire, or when you hire Organize to Harmonize, that you are getting people that are trustworthy, honest, compassionate, and will get things done for you. So it's absolutely important. Because again, that's your reputation. Your brand is your reputation. So you have to have one that people will recognize and know and appreciate.
Yes. Um, how comfortable with you are, and I'm asking this question because I have this conversation with lots of business owners, and a lot of times they're uncomfortable with it. I'm surprised at the amount of people that are uncomfortable with it. But how comfortable are you with increasing your prices?
Oh, very.
Is
Because
there?
from where I started to where I am now, it's like night and day. And
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with inflation. It just has to do with one, not knowing my worth. I won't even say worth. I guess I just had no clue what to charge initially.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, should I raise it? And should I raise it? And should I raise it? Oh, well, then I got over that, real quickly. And it was like, oh no, these are my prices. Because like I said, it's not an inexpensive service, but you're paying for the knowledge that someone brings to the table. You're
Yeah.
not paying for, yes, it's also the time, but it's also mostly the knowledge because, people will say, oh, my housekeeper can do this or my housekeeper, I'll let my housekeeper do whatever. I had somebody hire me for a giant move, but they wouldn't listen to anything that I said. They just wanted to listen to the housekeeper. Why did you hire me then?
How
I'm the
funny.
expert.
Yeah.
Why did you hire
Why
me
am I here?
if you were just going to listen to the housekeeper? So, you have to know what it is that you're worth and be okay with that. And it's also trial and error because if you raise them too high and you're not getting any business, then you kind of know that you got to bring them down,
Yeah.
you know, because you have to kind of know what the market is doing too. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're gonna charge, I don't know, if you're a coach and you're charging $1,000 an hour, good for you if you can get that. But if everybody else is charging 250, it's gonna
You're
be
way
hard
off.
to be hard to maybe get some clients there,
Yeah.
or as many
Uh,
as you would like.
yes. Um, would you consider this a luxury service?
No, I
No?
don't, because like I said, it is a necessity because there's so many benefits that people struggle with organizing. And probably I know I had a statistic before and I can't remember what it is now, but it is a very, very large segment of the population that actually struggles with disorganization because it's how your brain is wired.
Mm-hmm.
So when your brain is not wired for certain things, you struggle more with those things.
Yeah.
And the benefits of being organized, besides, saving time and saving money and just creating a peaceful environment for yourself, there's so many benefits that it's so important for people to follow some sort of systems, but people don't look at it in that way. So you could call it a luxury service because the price points of what most people charge, or let me say, Liz, what qualified people charge. Because you'll get people, like, oh, I'm $25 an hour, and they'll put a square peg in a round hole. But they're not dealing with the root of what the problem is as to why people are dealing with the clutter. And how to handle that because you can clean up anything. It's kind of like I always equated the easiest example is talking about weight because you can help somebody lose weight, but if they don't understand why they're overeating or why they have the habits that they have, they're only going to gain it back.
Yeah. Got to get to the
You know,
core of it.
I think about that time when Oprah lost all that weight on the liquid diet. Doesn't common sense tell you, sorry, Oprah, I love you to death, but doesn't common sense tell you that once you start eating food, you're going to gain
It's
the
gonna
weight
go
back?
back. Yep.
I
So
mean, it's a
yeah.
lifestyle choice. You have
Yeah.
to change your lifestyle, and you're not going to live off of liquids forever.
True.
So you have to get to understanding it. So no, it is not luxury. It is a necessity. And it's more about investing in yourself and your life and your lifestyle and your family than it is about doing something luxury. Because if you follow what we do and understand that, then you can do it once. I mean, it may take more than one visit, but I mean, hire somebody one time and then you'll be able to follow that. And then you shouldn't have to have us back. I mean,
Yeah.
our goal is not to come back. That means we will have succeeded by transferring those skills initially. But oftentimes it doesn't work that way, especially when people don't necessarily want to be part of the process, which does happen.
And how do you find I know people that are in business and most people that are hiring crews, they are having a struggle with I guess getting or hiring quality employees. So do you have any advice to that?
No. Because I've had my own challenges. Mostly I have hired in the past. I've hired people that I've known,
Mm.
That I know what it is that they're looking for. I know what they're capable of doing. And then I train them on what they need to know. but it is very challenging. I don't understand why. I think different generations have different worth ethics,
Yeah.
but honestly, I just don't know the reason. Because when I was hiring, it was a challenge. It was a challenge just getting people to apply. And it's not like I pay minimum wage. So I was like, it was hard.
Yeah. I've had I've set a goal for myself to never like to basically maintain a business where I never have to hire people. Um and if I
But
do,
see,
it'll be
there's
like
different.
contracted. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was just going to say there's different because you may outsource your social media, you may outsource your HR, you may outsource your this, that, or whatever thing. But
Yeah.
having employees to do what you do is something totally different.
Yeah. That's what I don't want. No, thank you. I don't want people working for me. I don't want to work with people that I hire except for contracted employees, but like to have a whole crew of people. Mm-mm. And my friend is like, well, that's how you're going to grow. I'm like, no, there's a million different ways to do different things. So I just have to figure that out outside of that. But no, thank you. I'm going to have to find a business or can it just only be me?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of businesses. I mean, you don't have to scale like that.
Yeah.
So, and it all depends on what you want those people to do too, because outsourcing, and hiring, an outside VA or this or that or something like that, that's a normal business thing that you would do anyway, just because there's not enough time in the day to be able
Yes.
to do it all yourself.
Yes.
But it's a matter of, having, I can take on more jobs and bigger jobs because I have people that can fulfill that. Because obviously I can only do but so much and be in, one place
So
at
many
one time.
places. Hmm. Yeah. So I'm just like, I got it. So that's where the idea of book writing and speaking and all that comes into play because I'm like, okay, well, I can make a decent amount of whatever I want to make, and still live my life outside of having all the crew and the people
Right,
and
right.
all this stuff. So the point of the podcast, the reasoning for the podcast, the goal, the prayer for the podcast is that something said within these conversations that I'm having with other business owners can inspire people to, for whatever reason, get rid of their fear and get up and get the thing done. So, is there anything, Robyn, that you can say that would possibly inspire someone to get up and get it done?
You know what? I don't know if you ever get rid of the fear per se, but you just have to believe in what it is that you want to do. Because if you don't believe it, then no one else is going to believe it, whether that means people supporting you or your potential clients.
Yes.
So you have to believe in what you want to do, and then that will drive you to keep going and to achieve what it is the next step.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much, Robyn. It has been a pure pleasure talking to you.
You're
Is there
very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
is there anything that we didn't go over that you like to share? Any questions? Anything that you would like to add?
Just if anyone needs to get in touch with me for any reason, you can do so at Organize to Harmonize, and that's my website. That's the number 2, and the same on Instagram if you want to follow me. And please reach out if you have any questions or want to hire us. We're always available, and I travel.
I love that. Well, how far have you ever traveled? Like, what's the furthest you've traveled?
For work, well, sometimes I incorporate work where I'm traveling.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, but a friend of mine just told me she has a friend that probably will need me in Hawaii. I was like, okay.
Like, I'll be there.
Exactly. I can do that.
I love that. I love the freedom that, I mean, although we do put in a lot of work and it's way harder, way more hours, but I really, really enjoy that's probably one of my favorite things about being in business is the ability to have the flexibility to do and go and be who
Right.
and what we want to. in whatever season
Absolutely.
that we're in. I absolutely love that. I'm grateful for that.
Life on your terms.
Yes. Well, Robyn, thank you again. I will text you once I get all the links and everything ready. I'll text you the video and audio links to the
Okay.
podcast.
All right,
But
great.
thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Episode 52. Like what? I'm still inspired by each and every guest that I have. There is something about having an idea in your head that, and she said she didn't even know that what she was doing could be a business. Like everything could be a business. If you have an idea to do something, figure out a way to make money doing it. I'm inspired by all of the stories, like 52 stories, 52 people that have 52 different stories that they've created, that they had in their mind. They had an idea and then boom, here's a business. And she's been at it for 16 years. Like what? That's like 16 years worth of game right there. But you can do it. Don't forget to thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your skin. And if you are a business owner that you would I guess be interested in sharing your business, I would love to have you on. Message me on whatever platform you are watching this or listening to this on. I am still on a hunt for men. I've only, out of 52 episodes, I've interviewed 2 men. We're the guys. Like the women are out here killing it. But I would like to talk to the guys as well. I have one more episode for the night, so I will be back. I'll talk to you guys soon later. Bye.